our destination?
Spring cleaning finances.
Let's go for a ride.
Welcome to Girls Trip.
So not excited.
I'm so scared. I am wearing my springiest thing, so I feel happier about talking about this.
That's such a very good idea.
That's a good way to approach this.
Yeah, I feel like we're all very in our personalities.
This is so true.
Yes.
This is so true.
Like Rebecca's ready to go camping at a moment's notice.
Every time.
I don't look appropriately dressed for whatever
You're
the
about to
occasion
give
is.
you're gonna give us a talk.
I'm
on
way
floral
overdressed. And only Joy can wear old lady florals and make it look young and fresh. If I put that on, not good.
No.
So this is
Thomas has called me like a 65-year-old trapped in a...
You are,
You
totally.
really are. You and your English
But-
breakfast tea or
Yes,
whatever
exactly.
it is. Wait, is
It
it
works
English
for
or
you.
Lady Grey? No.
Oh, don't like that.
That's why I need to
Don't
confirm.
offensive,
even
Rebecca.
start with me. No, we're an English breakfast.
That's what I thought, okay.
I have a teacup on my kitchen table that's for my afternoon.
Oh my
tea.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, see what I mean? Moving on.
With a saucer.
We don't want to get into that. With this saucer.
That is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Let's
They actually don't want to be my friend.
let's diagnose that. Okay. So today we're diving in. We told you it was going to get scarier every day, right?
Yeah.
So today is finances, subscriptions, cleaning all that up, looking at the dirty details of that.
I'd rather clean out someone else's fridge.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it can definitely be a tough one. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe at different phases of life it's less tough to look at. I'm hoping by the time I'm nearing retirement, it's not gonna be so scary. I don't know.
Maybe not though.
But maybe not then either. I'm not really sure. But first, we are going to give a very, very overdue update.
Yes.
Because if you were with us way back in January, we had our wheel, which will make another appearance soon, where we spun and were given a budget challenge. So we're going to give a little update on that. Does anyone want to go first?
I think I have the most confessions.
Oh,
I don't know.
I have the most failures.
Yeah.
So my challenge was the cash only.
Right, for a week.
So my way around this.
My loophole.
You went right to a loophole. Okay.
My way around this was to bring my husband with me.
Joy played this like it was a game show.
She's like,
I'm gonna beat the system.
pay for anything. It's all on him.
And I was like, ooh, I forgot my wallet in the car. I was like, okay.
So you didn't even tell him.
Nah, he had no idea.
What happens to yours is mine and mine's yours?
It is.
Mine
And he paid for it. He swiped it. I didn't swipe it.
That's so funny.
So, but I do have an additional confession. But to talk about the challenge itself, I didn't buy anything from Amazon, obviously, which is great because we talked about this last week. I put a lot of stuff in my cart for next week when I can. But then I know I actually don't really need that. So that's also very good. So definitely saved money there. Did not do Starbucks all week.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't do Starbucks. So I made all my coffee at home.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay, so
I mean, I'm in my new
Yeah.
kitchen, so I'm also I like my coffee nook area, my tea nook area. So I really enjoy doing that. But I mean, I have so many branches that I could go off into this with. This was also helpful because I am working from home, but we're down to one car now. So I'm not going out even as much.
Right.
Because I'm kind of stranded. So I have been saving money without really even realizing it by having one car.
Yep.
I'm not just doing a quick, I'll just run to Marshalls or Home Goods or what. I literally can't unless I got an Uber, which I can't pay for because I can't use my whatever. I have to do it in cash.
Even though every time we've seen Joy and my mom and I are running to somewhere like that, my mom's like, "Are you sure you don't want to come with us?"
Oh yeah, she's such a bad influence in the best way.
Sure?
I'm literally mid work. She's like, "No, you want to come? You want to come?" And I'm like, I really want to, but I really can't. So yeah, I've actually saved a lot of money. I totally had a meltdown at the end of the week, though. Total meltdown. Because I did have a lot of cash on me. I went to the bank at the beginning of the week and I got a bunch of cash, so I was good. but I was hosting. And when I woke up on that day, I was like, okay, I had my whole day planned out when I'm going to get my work done. I had to run a couple errands and go to ShopRite, then blah, 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 blah. I left ShopRite and I looked at the bill and I realized I just swiped my card so quick. I didn't think about it. I didn't even think about it.
No, I get that. Yep.
And I think it's because it wasn't a part of my routine for the week. It was something completely different. I was like, I had such a tight schedule to get everything done in time. I wasn't even conscious of it. So I did have a failure, but it wasn't purposeful. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So, but overall did really good. And I think I would definitely do it again under duress, but I would probably do it again just to challenge myself to not like almost like what we were saying with maintenance, like maybe going forward, just like try to incorporate cash more into it.
So did you actually make any payments with cash that week, or did you just not buy?
No, we're just not buying.
No, I didn't make any actual because I don't do that. Because we have the new house, so we haven't even done like mortgage yet or anything like that's coming in a couple weeks. So and Thomas takes care of electricity and stuff. I typically do. We both help with the mortgage, and then I typically do food. So I was literally taking him everywhere with me. So it was bad, but it was funny. So I was taking him everywhere, and then it was really just the hosting that was the problem, where my brain turned off of everything, and I went into a different mode.
Yeah, you're just like,
has to
I
get
gotta
done.
do this.
Yeah.
Because there is something to that, everyone's using plastic, everyone's swiping. Now it's like you're just tapping your phone. You're not even taking anything out. So there is a lot of pressure when you're checking out that to stop and pull out cash and wait for change
wasn't a thing.
You feel like everyone in line is watching me and they hate me, and so it's a hard, like in a weird like societal pressure way. It's actually hard to shop with cash.
I've been feeling this at ShopRite. ShopRite's our grocery store of choice. I feel this weird because they don't bag or help you bag anymore. So I'm like loading stuff.
You're quickly
and then
trying
they're
to get
doing this,
stuff.
and I'm like, okay, we're bagging now. And then you see coming up behind you, and you're like, you have to go fast.
Yeah.
You have to go fast. I don't know what that is or what. Like they used to have bag people. What happened? What happened?
They got rid of the bag.
They got rid of the bag. But you still have to take your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been.
And if you're like me, who however many years later still walks into stores forgetting bags.
I don't know if I'll ever use cash at a grocery store. Really,
that's stressful.
It's a little bit too stressful.
I think it's also at a grocery store. There's a little bit of unknown of prices too.
Yeah,
because you're gonna go there. Some stuff might be on sale. You might have seen the circular before. Like it just depends. So you're really like, I'm gonna try to spend this if I have this cash, but it might go over. It might go under. Like there's a lot. So it does, I think, have a little bit ease of mind if you use that.
I did see someone recently who I thought like, ooh, like that's a good middle ground where instead they didn't use cash, but to set a limit for themselves, they would put like, I'm putting $20 on my Starbucks app, let's say.
Yeah.
And that's all for the week.
That's a
so however long that takes me to get through. If I use it all by midway, like then
that's it.
I don't get it. So just as a way to be more aware, I guess, of what you're spending.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next so we can hopefully gloss over mine real fast. Rebecca.
And on scary note.
Mine was a total fail. So my challenge was, I don't even fully remember, but mine was to lower the like utility costs of the house.
It was like 10% or something?
Something like that. And to be really honest, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how our utilities work here because I didn't grow up with like oil and whatever other nonsense we have here. Well water in the woods in the middle of nowhere.
Out of a mountain.
So, it's still hard for my brain to like fully grasp, but I do know that our costs differ drastically like with the seasons. So, like in the winter months, which is when we were doing this challenge, we're maybe having to refill our oil tank like every month. Whereas like then we refill it once and like we don't need to refill it for the whole summer. So I think it's very hard to just like pluck a random month out and try to reduce the cost. I did try like the way I used to do it when I was living in a much smaller apartment by like, I'm gonna unplug everything instead of leaving.
Turn lights off and
Turning all the lights off and unplugging, my flat iron after I'm using it, and unplugging the toaster and doing all that, which again, I know sounds super silly, but I told the story where I did see that actually could make a difference. It made no difference, like none whatsoever. And like I said, my husband works from home every day, all day. And some days I'm home and, so we spend a lot of time here. We can't like shut the house down for 8 hours a day.
Sense, yeah.
And that's even like, our heat was down to like 64 every day. And like, we're going to be freezing. We're already walking around with like sweatshirts and socks on. So we couldn't like, you have little kids. You can't make them freeze at night for that. So
Mommy has a challenge.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
So yeah, that's not going to be the way we save money.
But it's still good to know.
You had that
good to know that it made no difference.
It opened your eyes to the world of this doesn't
work for us.
This doesn't work for us.
Yeah,
that's not the way.
You're gonna have to find the cutting costs somewhere else.
Yeah, I think we were already being pretty conscious of that kind of stuff. And there was very little we could do other than you see those crazy shows where people like literally like plastic off half their house so they don't use it so that they preserve stuff. It's insane.
That's crazy.
We were not going to get to that level.
Also, you picked the challenge in like the winter months, so
which is really hard.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe in April, May.
I mean, I never plan on getting that challenge again. So
no.
All right. Will we be ending on a good note? Maybe.
Half fail.
I don't.
Take the win, Rebecca. Take the win.
I beat them. I beat them. So mine was to kind of gauge how much I spend on groceries, like during a week or whenever you do your shopping, and to basically cut that down about 15%. So I would say that I do like a really big shopping haul, like getting chicken and beef and all that stuff, maybe like once or twice a month. It kind of depends on if there's parties or events and all that stuff going on. However, I go to the grocery store every single week, most likely.
Yeah.
How I'm getting like the ingredients, I would say we're more of an ingredients household.
Yeah.
We have some snacks here and there, chips and whatever, and a couple sweets. But for the most part, anytime I'm making dinner, I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have this.
I gotta
go run to the store and get this. Yeah. So I try to do like once a week, getting some items. So I would say, in today's economy, I could probably spend about $200 at Trader Joe's for a week. Like if I'm getting milk and then almost $300 for a big haul of stuff, easily. And if I'm getting a couple extras items, I'm going more. So cutting down, it was I'm thinking like, okay, if it was a week long, I was like, maybe I'll try to save like $25, $30 max or whatever. So for me, and I think we discussed this, that in my brain is just like, okay, I'm not getting those like extra craving items, or I'm not gonna go grab that like second bag of chips. I'm gonna get what I need for the week.
And
that's it. Yeah, and that's it. So I think overall, I have these ups and downs of that where I'm like, I don't want anything. Like I don't want sweets. I'm just gonna have dinner, and be fine with it. Sometimes I'm like, I need the chocolate chip cookie. I need all the stuff. So I happened to do this on a week where I was like, this is easy. I'm fine. Like I'll walk up and down, get what I need. So I thought it did help, and it really like if I don't have the money to spend, I'm like, well, it sucks to suck. Like, I don't know. Like it is what it is. I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it and not have that. But it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, actually.
Yours, out of the three of ours, was probably the easiest to achieve. Because it's so much of it is just in your control, just so easily.
And I could be like, well, we're having, a chocolate fondue for dinner. Like, so like, I feel like I could have certainly cut corners, but I just took the approach. I was like, all right, well, I'm just not going to get those quick like craving items that you just want to grab while you're hungry.
Right.
I also tried to not shop while I was hungry. So that significantly helped me, which was shocking. So I think it worked. And this one I think is more of a good just reminder too. Like every month or so, like, all right, let me just check in. Was I buying this? What did I get? What did I not eat that I didn't need to buy?
But do you do the shopping lists or no when you go to the store?
I do if I have a recipe in mind. Otherwise, I just
Okay.
kind of get, okay, I know we always want carrots, we always need heavy cream, I need this, so I get kind of the essentials, and then I'll have a list for the dinner that I'm making.
I think, so we're also super close to our ShopRite now, so that's been another thing too. Like, he'll come home and I'll be like, I'll literally jump in the car when he gets home and we'll go to ShopRite together and get what we need for that night.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So we've kind of, unless we're doing like a big party or something, I'm not going to the store to get like a huge haul. We've kind of put that to the side and trying this new, like, let's just get what we need for right now.
Yeah.
And let's see how that works.
Yeah.
And I feel like that works really well. Because you're not overbuying, because you're just getting what you need. And I don't know, I'm trying to use Instacart a little bit less because it's just, Instacart is rough. Because as far as budgeting goes sometimes, because it's so easy just to be like, add. You're not feeling the pain of put it in the cart and then paying for it. It's just a weird feeling.
I think it actually, I feel the opposite about it.
Yeah,
in a way.
We are different in this. It's easier for me to just add stuff to my cart in Instacart.
I think I am literally seeing in real time the total update.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I don't want to spend that much money today.
Okay.
So what do I really not
what can I
need?
get
Like, what am
rid
I
of?
getting for just in case that I don't actually need this week and I can remove it?
It's too much of it's too easy for me. And even like if I'm like cutting it short on time or something, or it's like, or if I just like don't want to go to the store, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
I'm like tired. I just to work and we gotta clean my junk room tonight. I don't wanna do that. So it's easier for me to be like, okay, and just add stuff, and then that ease that could become 3-4 times a week.
Right.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. So
When I am in the grocery store, I'm not looking at the price of anything.
Really?
I'm just getting it in the cart and going. Otherwise, I feel like I'd be there all day.
My way around that has been just to get all store brand stuff. That's what I've gotten to. Like, everything is Bowl and Basket, or the organic version of ShopRite's. What is that? I don't remember the name of it. But,
I know what you're talking about.
But it's like they have their Bowl and Basket and they have an organic version.
Yeah, I might not be able to speak to you anymore. Have you and Miles been colluding? Because he went to the store for me because I was, again, we're an ingredients household. I was missing something. I was like, oh, I need this one thing. And he came back with some random assortment of things. And I'm like, what is this garbage?
What is this?
Like, he brought back peanut butter that was, I think, store brand or something. And I was like, this is actual trash.
Definitely not a dramatization.
No. I was like, do you not know what brand peanut butter we use in this house? Like, why? We just save so much money. I was like, but I'm not going to eat this. So you actually save nothing.
There are ingredients or things where I will not. I don't care how much it is. I'm buying that.
There are certain things.
But yeah, I would say more often than not, I do look at the prices. When I'm shopping at Trader Joe's, I don't really, because for the most part over the years, I've kind of gauged at the moment, this is cheaper, this is not cheaper.
Yeah.
So like, nickels and dimes here and there, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I would find I'm not really far away from stores too. So I can easily go back out if I needed something. I don't always want to do that. But there is a convenience to be like, I don't need a plan for a month's worth of groceries.
Right.
Because I can just go out the next week or in 2 days or whatever. Like, I have options. So.
Like, that method would not work for us, I think, with kids. Because you can maybe be eating at 8 o'clock some nights.
So true.
Whereas my kids are getting in bed at 8 o'clock. So we don't have time to, after work, go to the store and figure, like, that has to be, like, ready to go.
Yeah.
And so we do have to think ahead a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to take this and transition us from budget challenges. Because
I forgot.
to finances, because I did really incorporate food into for this for me. So I think you could have interpreted this a lot of different ways, whether that was just like getting your financial like paperwork in order, whether that was looking at how much you're spending, whether it's looking at how you're tracking your spending. So I decided, I've gone 2 weeks so far with tracking everything I'm spending every day, which has been eye-opening in an unwanted way.
Did not need to know these things.
And in addition to that, really, these last 2 weeks, I was really challenging myself to approach food in a different way.
Okay.
Because we do spend a lot of money on groceries, but there are definitely some nights where I'm like, I know that there is stuff that I can make a meal out of.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily know what that is.
Yep.
And it feels very like laborious to go figure out what that might be. But in doing things like a pantry clean out or staring at my fridge and saying, I'm not going to clean this right now, but still noticing what's in it, you become more aware of like, you know, okay, I have 4 cans of black beans. Like I should make a meal with black beans to use this. Or like, you know, the one night in my head, I was like, okay, what can I make for dinner tonight? And I started coming up with an idea because I had chicken, but the rest of the meal required me to go buy
Other stuff.
And I was like, I know that I have something that I can make a meal out of in my kitchen. So it was like pushing myself a little bit more to be like, kind of like those, if you ever watch MasterChef, they would get those like mystery box crates and like whatever's in there, you have to use what's in there. So I definitely challenged myself with that and did save a significant amount of money in that way. And it felt good to be like utilizing things, not just letting things sit there in the pantry. Because definitely I pulled out a can that expired in like 2023 out of my pantry. I was like, okay. So I did save money there. And then also challenging myself that when I'm tired and the thought of cooking a whole meal really is not appealing, I want to be like, let's just DoorDash something. And trying to say like, okay, maybe I'm not going to make a typical meal that I would pick for dinner, but I could do something simpler that doesn't require as much energy, but still doesn't have me spending $80 on DoorDash. So trying to make that more of a habit as well. So that was a big part of spring cleaning my finances these last couple of weeks. But was there any way that you guys approached this idea?
Okay. So I do need to get better at this, but I have done for a bit. Kind of keeping the receipts of any time I go to a grocery haul. Is it like 3 months later, I go through all of them and then put it in on my computer? I'm like, oh, we went over like 2 months ago a lot. Yes, but I think it is helpful just to reflect back on and be like, ooh, okay, so we definitely had a couple events. There's a lot more money to spend. So I think that is helpful just even in long term to also see when like prices go up and just to see how you're spending. But I hate the word budget. I'm just going to say that. Me too. I think we all do. We all have this kind of like, ooh, it's scary. I don't want to do it. I think if you, like we said earlier, if you just do it. Just go at it. Go look at it. It's going to be better. Just going to be better. Don't leave it to the end. So can I talk about subscriptions at this moment? Okay. So shockingly, I thought I would have had way more subscriptions, but currently I just have like Netflix, a Spotify Premium, and like a Google email. I was like, I don't really have anything, like for some reason, I think because I have all of these apps that I just thought, oh, I have more. Have I been mooching off of a couple other people? Maybe. Bless them. So I think that's always a good thing to come back because, I was like, oh, I'm for sure spending a little. Oh, Easy Pass. I'm like, what's the one that's like monthly though? I mean, that's not really a subscription, but those are the ones that just automatically come out of my account.
But it was good peace of mind maybe for you to actually look through them.
It was a little bit to be like, oh, okay.
It's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah. Now, 3 of them are a very consistent like price every month. So at least I have to know like, I need to have at least this much money in my account. Like I cannot go over that. But for Easy Pass, that one can fluctuate depending on how much we're driving. Thankfully, I'm driving on an area that doesn't always have a toll. Already is, so that goes up and down depending on the month. So that one, I'm like, okay, in my brain, I just always want to make sure I have X amount of money just in case that goes through. So
that is how we pay tolls.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's like Easy Pass is specific to
New Jersey. And like it's like Sun Toll or something in Florida, like all those places. Yeah. So for the Garden State Parkway or the Turnpike, which is now getting ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that's
another tangent. Anyway, you need to take out a mortgage for that. Anyway, I digress. So that was just definitely eye-opening, and I was like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it could have been. The thing that I would like to get, I think, better is just really tracking better with the food, because there is a point where I'm like, we need milk, like I'm getting this, I need these certain items, So I think sticking a little bit more to a budget or a set goal will be like just a little bit better, especially now that things are getting a little bit pricier. Like things are dropping and things are rising, you know, it's a constant up and down. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
To see that.
I definitely have too many subscriptions.
Okay.
I don't know the total. I did unsubscribe from, I canceled 2 subscriptions that I kind of had forgotten that I had. There was a period of time where I was doing a lot of video editing stuff that I had subscribed to these tools and sites, and I haven't done that in like a long time, but I just forgot that that was happening, and I was like, I don't need to be paying that. If I ever need to do this again, I can just renew my subscription, but I was like, I definitely wasted money on letting that go, so I canceled those 2. I need to cut down on the TV subscriptions. I definitely have too many. I think that my problem is that when I'm doing chores and stuff like that, I like to just have stuff playing to distract
100%.
me. And now I've gotten into this like habit of I have one show on Peacock, I have one show on Paramount, I have one show on Hulu, and so like when I run out of 2 episodes on this, I'll jump to the next, and I don't like having to think about, like, every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I have no new episodes to watch, and then I'm like scrolling trying to find something. I'm like, I just want to finish the dishes, but I don't know what to put on. So I'm trying to convince myself to maybe let go of 2 of them, but I'm kind of in the middle of shows on them.
Like, I will be
so I'm telling myself, like, okay, finish this season, let go of those, and then
I like that.
and then try to find more shows, and then maybe I'll come up with like a rotation, like a yearly rotation. Like, I'm gonna have these 2 or 3 this year, watch as many shows as I can on those, and then next year like switch them or something like that. So that's kind of where I landed with subscriptions. Did you dive into your subscriptions?
So, have you ever watched Parks and Rec?
Yes.
You know when Ben comes in because
and he's like, you don't need this.
Slashed to pieces. That's been my life for the past 3 months. So not much to talk about because we have nowhere else to cut. So with the new home, we have been purging for everything. Like I said, down to 1 car. So that was a huge down to 1 insurance. So any subscriptions that we didn't need, we completely canceled. My gym membership, I canceled it.
R.I.P.
So we're rip, and we're definitely trying to be more creative about how to incorporate that into my new life and just all those things. But there's quite literally nowhere else to cut because we cut everything that we could, which feels good because it knows I know that I'm starting from a good place.
You're operating at a good place.
So that does feel good.
And you have to feel like you can sit with that too. You're like, that's fine. Like, I'm okay. I don't have to constantly get that, fix of just like delete.
Yeah, no, I know that I'm starting from a good place. I'm not going to have to look at that for another year, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, all good.
Gym memberships are another topic.
I feel like the hardest thing, like, so when I looked back for over 2 weeks of tracking daily, I realized about myself that when there's certain things, like, kind of almost like, not that you didn't realize you were spending money, but when you bought those groceries and you just like swiped and you weren't really thinking of it. When I buy like little stuff for other people, if like we're out together and I'll be like, oh, I'll get your coffee, or like it doesn't even register that I'm spending money.
True.
I'm just like, so but then at the end of I would do it every night before bed. I'd be like, okay, what did I spend money on today? And and then I'd be like, oh my God, I spent, whatever, this much money because I bought so and so lunch, or and I'm like, I didn't think that I spent this much money at the end of the day. But those little things sneak
Forcing
in
yourself
there.
to look at it is important. I think. It's good for your.
And then it's like you do become a little competitive with yourself. You're like, can I have a day where I spend nothing, or can I have a day where I spend less than $50 or whatever it was? So I'm a little ashamed to say that in the 2 weeks that I tracked, I didn't have a single day where I spent $0. I did have like 2 or 3 days
sweetie.
where my only cost was coffee.
Okay, that's great. Look at that.
Which I've gotten really, really, really good at since the start of the year. Okay, all right, you know what? Fine.
somewhere doing this.
It's like Rebecca.
He's actually really proud of me for the coffee
Aw.
thing because I never
You have
ever thought I would
grown so
make that
much.
work. So if I look at it over the course of like the first quarter of the year, I've saved so much money on coffee. Unfortunately, I just was not home like at all the last 2 weeks. I was out like every day, so I'm buying coffee. So there were a couple of days where that was my only expense, and I'm like,
Not bad.
okay, I really wanted to see that zero,
Yeah.
but I'll take just the coffee expense. But yeah, there were a few days where I was like, oh, did not feel like what did I get out of this? So that was a little frustrating. But even as I was looking over it, I'm like, okay, like primarily I'm spending money on stuff where it's like, it's hard to cut. It's like, okay, this is food.
Yep.
This is,
Necessities.
gifts that I had to buy for people, whether it's birthdays or bridal showers or, whatnot. I feel like my biggest weakness was clothes,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is always hard when we're like transitioning into a new season
It's so tough.
and all the new stuff comes out.
Like, I want to try it all.
And not even really for myself.
Yeah.
Like I think I bought one thing for myself, but the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're still so young, so their clothes from last season don't fit them,
Yeah.
so they need new clothes. But then also there's needs and then there's cute. Like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
need to get this because it's so cute. So that was definitely my biggest downfall and weakness was that. But the other stuff, I'm like, there's really not a lot that I mean, I'm sure I could shave, but it's not like a clean sweep of like, I can just take this out and save money here.
For my podcast last week, one of the ladies had said, was it that? Was it it might have been the podcast, or maybe I was watching another episode on tidying up, something like that. Anyway, they were saying about gifts specifically for people. This is my downfall with it's really hard, especially, I mean, I don't have my own kids yet, but it's all my nieces and nephews. It's really tough. So the tip that they gave was, instead of just buying more things, which they probably don't need, which is totally valid. They don't really need much. Instead of doing that, really try to invest in experiences.
Oh, yes.
And really try to
talked about that.
spend your time with that. And then the flip part to that was, or in addition, I should say, it was, instead of people buying you stuff, because it was clearing out your space, not so much budgeting, it was clearing out your space. Instead of, because you've been asking people, what do you want to do? Do you want to go out somewhere? They will then do that with you, so that they're not giving you stuff that you don't need or don't want. They're spending your birthday gift on experiences for you instead. So it's like kind of changing your culture, your little culture of your family a little bit, slowly but surely, which is a huge thing. It's not easy. But
I mean, I'm 100% there theoretically.
Yeah.
I think that that reduces clutter in your house, but it doesn't always reduce budget.
It's not for budget. It's
I
not
have
for
found
budget.
when I have done experiential gifts, I'm usually spending double what I would have spent on just buying them a physical
Which,
gift.
listen, I mean, that's super true and super valid. To go another step further, it's like, okay. So for my nieces, for example, I could have got them like the little gifts, which I did this year. What they really want is to have a sleepover at my house.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's all they want. And then I can even go further and be like, well, then we're like buying all this stuff to like make it a fun night, right?
Yeah.
But again, they don't need that.
Right.
What they need is just to like be with me.
want your time.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
So you can, as true as that is, it's like, how important is it to you to save? If it's just decluttering, then that's one thing. Then we don't need more things. Let's just go out and have fun and do all the things. If we take it a step further to let's declutter and also save money, then let's just talk about what's actually important and what we need.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's so true. I also realized when I looked at the two things together, budget and organizing or whatever in those categories, I realized that I have a habit. And my habit is that if it's something that can be a quick fix that I can order in 5 minutes on Amazon, like my tea organizer that I got, where it's like, it jumps in my brain, this would be great, it's going to be a quick fix, and I can order it in 5 minutes, and it's going to show up at my door tomorrow, I will do that. If it's something like my situation in my bedroom, for instance, where I still have garbage bags hanging over my windows, where I want to put up curtains, but there's a lot more logistics involved in that. It's like, I have to stop and measure the windows because I found the rods I want and they come in like 8 different sizes and I don't know what size our windows are.
Yeah.
And these specific rods, I want like blackout curtains behind and I want pretty curtains in the front, and I already have pretty curtains. Are they going to be the right length? Like all this kind of stuff. Like that takes an hour out of my time that I need to stop and figure out all of those things. I can't just press buttons on my phone and order it. So then I delay those things.
Yes, I do the same.
Almost indefinitely. Months, sometimes years, whatever. But those are really the more impactful things that I'm like, if I look back, let's say over the course of a year, of what have I spent money on to better my house or get myself more organized or whatever, it's usually the thing that maybe cost more money and took more time, but that's going to last longer versus like, these are the 15 little purchases that I made. And like, they were easy in the moment, so I wanted to just pull the trigger and do it, but I wish I hadn't done 5 of them so I could do this one thing. But because it takes more time, I put it off. And so I'm like, okay, I really should think more long term, like almost at the start of the year. Which projects do I want to take on, and how do I prioritize those in my budget this year?
I think that's good to do, to have like maybe in your spring cleaning. You can't get everything done in your spring cleaning. It's impossible. You can't do everything. But maybe to have organizational goals that like, okay, by June, this is the project or 1 or 2 projects that I want to have done. I think that's good. I think that's helpful.
And then you'll just have sort of in the back of your mind that that's going to cost X number of dollars.
And you'll have that project in your head though of, I know that this money is allocated for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So then maybe when you are doing those little things, you'll kind of pause and be like, is this worth me spending the money, or would I rather have that money available mentally when I go to pull the trigger on this other project?
Like, we want to redo our laundry area to this very specific, visual that I have, and that stopped me from buying multiple things because I'm like, nope, that's for that when it's ready. So those big projects do help, I think. Yeah,
and that's something that I don't typically do. I don't look ahead at the whole year and be like, what around my house do I want to really focus on? It's just sort of as things pop up. Like I said, I've been doing my pantry, like very reactive in that way. So I think I would like to get better with that habit.
Well, I feel thoroughly flogged. Anyone else? Good. Okay. I'm so glad.
It was a tough one.
It's hard.
It was a tough one, but I challenge everyone to track your daily budget for at least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks
right now.
To see what's going on. How much money is really coming out of all that tapping and sliding, because we're not always aware of it.
We're not always aware. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. If you've enjoyed our videos and you haven't yet hit subscribe, it really helps us. And if you liked the video, please like it. If you want to leave a comment and tell us about how inspired you are by us, please do, because we need some validation right now. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to enjoy the view wherever your ride takes you.